At some point, everyone has dreamed of becoming a billionaire and living the life of luxury, yet very few of us will achieve that possibility. The ones that do often have incredible stories on their way to climbing up the world's richest list. Today, we're going to look at the history of some well-known billionaires, especially before they started making the big bucks. We'll see their childhood and what decisions they made that turned them into the economic powerhouses they are today. We're going to examine big names like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Oprah Winfrey, and Jack Ma. So let's get started. Currently, Jeff Bezos is sitting at an estimated net worth of $193.3 billion according to Forbes. During June of 2020, due to the recent global events, Bezos' net worth increased by an unprecedented $13 billion in just one day. In 2018, the company he founded, Amazon, obviously, officially crossed into the realm of being worth $1 trillion. Even though he now has over 30 times more money than Queen Elizabeth, Bezos' life was vastly different only 3 decades ago. Born in New Mexico, United States during 1964 to Jackie and Ted Jorgensen, his mother was a 17-year-old high school student at the time, while his father owned a bike shop. When he was only 4, Bezos' parents divorced. His mother then married Cuban immigrant Miguel Mike Bezos. Miguel later formally adopted Jeff. From a young age, Bezos showed a passion for mechanics. As a toddler, he apparently dismantled his crib with a screwdriver. That is some ridiculous early genius going on right there. Later on, he would create an electrical alarm system to keep his siblings out of his bedroom. At high school, he balanced becoming a valedictorian with a part-time job at McDonald's. In 1986, Bezos would graduate Princeton University with a degree in computer science and electrical engineering. After that, Bezos would enter the adult world by taking various jobs on Wall Street, such as with Fattel, Bankers Trust, and D&E Shaw & Company, the latter of which he became vice president of the company by the time he hit 30. At the company, he met Mackenzie Scott Tuttle. The two would marry in 1993. In 2019, the two would divorce, and the settlement would make Tuttle one of the richest women in the world with a current net worth of $58.7 billion. Yet back in the 90s, Bezos wanted to do something more in his career. So in 1994, he left D&E Shaw & Company in order to set up an online bookshop in an emerging market of the internet. What's that? He also had plans to branch out the bookshop into selling other items eventually. Other items, like everything you could ever want. Bezos set up Cadabra in the garage of his home in Seattle. Later on, he would change the company's name to Amazon. With that, Bezos brought in a team of computer experts to help him set up Amazon. After the website reached its beta stage, Bezos asked 300 friends and family members to test out the site. In July of 1995, the Amazon website was launched to the world. The first book sold by the startup was Fluid Concepts and Creative Analogies by Douglas Hofstadter. Sounds stimulating. By September 1995, Amazon was bringing in $20,000 per week. At the end of 1995, Amazon had brought in $510,000 in revenue. In 1997, Amazon went public. Bezos told his investors there was a 70% chance they could lose all their money. I love his honesty. His parents decided to plow $300,000 of their money into their son's venture, owning 6% of the company. By the end of the decade, his parents and Bezos, at only 35 years of age, were billionaires. This year, Bezos and Elon Musk have been trading who the richest person in the world is. In early January, Musk hit the top with an estimated net worth of $185 billion. Currently, Forbes has his net worth at $190.3 billion, but who's counting? Musk was born during 1971 in Pretoria, South Africa. His mother, May Musk, was a Canadian model. His father, Errol Musk, was a South African engineer. By the time Musk was 10, his parents divorced. In order to sustain her family, May worked 5 jobs at one point. A couple of years after the divorce, Musk lived with his father, a decision he later regretted because the two are now estranged. In an interview with Rolling Stone magazine, Musk described his father as, quote, "a terrible human being," end quote. Wow. Ooh. As a child, Musk was often daydreaming about new inventions. It got so bad that his parents took him to have his hearing tested. Also, when he was 10, Musk developed a strong interest in computers and taught himself programming. When he was 12, Musk sold the code to a video game he made called Blastar. It was bought by the magazine PC and Office Technology for $500. Life at private school was just as hard as home life. Musk was bullied throughout his childhood. At one stage, he ended up in the hospital after being thrown down a flight of stairs. Musk soon dreamed of making a life in America. As such, he realized he would have a better chance of being allowed to live in the US if he went via Canada through his mother's nationality. So he applied for a Canadian passport. This act meant Musk skipped South Africa's mandatory military service. As he waited, Musk briefly attended the University of Pretoria. In 1989, Musk arrived in Canada. For a year, he worked various odd jobs to keep himself afloat. In 1990, he attended Queen's University in Ontario. By 1992, he transferred to the University of Pennsylvania. He graduated with degrees in economics and physics. In 1995, Musk was accepted onto a PhD program at Stanford University for energy physics. After 2 days, he dropped out. Instead, he wanted to dive into the internet boom. He set up Zip2 with his brother Kimball. The company developed maps and business directories to online newspapers. During this time, Musk couldn't afford a place to live, so he slept at the Zip2 office and washed at the local YMCA. Only 2 years later, the company took off. He sold Zip2 to Compaq for $307 million. Musk received $22 million for his share of the company. He then used the money to fund a new venture, X.com, and he also probably bought himself a place where he could shower and stuff like that. That led him to working on PayPal, SpaceX, and Tesla. In 2002, Musk would finally receive his U.S. citizenship. He would later become a billionaire in 2012. In 2003, at the age of 49, Oprah Winfrey became the first black female billionaire in history due to her incredible media empire. But her childhood was incredibly difficult, some of which we aren't going to be able to discuss due to the serious nature. Winfrey was born in Mississippi during 1954. Her birth certificate actually states her name as Orpah, after the figure in the Bible. However, due to people mispronouncing her name, Oprah stuck. Winfrey's mother, Vernita Lee, was only 19 when Winfrey was born. Her father, Vernon Winfrey, was a barber and businessman. For the first few years of her life, Winfrey was raised by her maternal grandmother, and they lived in poverty. Winfrey would have clothes made from potato sacks, something which drew the harsh attention of nearby children. When she was 6, Winfrey moved with her mother to Wisconsin. Vernita was working as a maid at the time. Due to a mix of raising numerous children and Winfrey struggling with trauma she sustained, she was sent to her father's in Tennessee a couple of times. Eventually, she lived there permanently. There, she found something that was missing. Vernon put a strong emphasis on Winfrey's education. He also guided and encouraged his daughter. She began making speeches at church and social gatherings, so much so she was reportedly paid $500 for one of her speeches. Winfrey was also voted most popular girl at her school. After winning a beauty pageant, Winfrey received a part-time job reading the news on the radio station WVOL. She would continue to do the job when she secured a full scholarship at Tennessee State University to study communication. After her degree, she became the youngest TV news anchor of a Nashville station that's now known as WTVF-TV. In 1976, she accepted an opportunity to move to Baltimore to co-anchor the 6 o'clock news on WJZ-TV. In 1983, she was recruited to move to Chicago to work on a morning talk show, AM Chicago. Later, in 1986, due to incredible ratings, the show was renamed The Oprah Winfrey Show and would be shown nationally until 2011. In 1985, Winfrey would also be cast in the film The Color Purple, earning herself an Oscar nomination. Her second nomination was due to her performance in 2014's Selma. In 2011, the TV channel The Oprah Winfrey Network would also be created. Today, Winfrey has now amassed an estimated net worth of $2.6 billion. While he is currently the third richest person in China, Jack Ma is perhaps the best known, mostly due to his musical performances at the annual Alibaba conferences. Born in Hangzhou, China during 1964, he was originally named Ma Yun. At a young age, Ma was interested in learning English. He even took on a role as a tour guide for many years. He would ride them around the city in his bicycle as he practiced his English. One of the tourists soon became good friends with Ma. They would even become pen pals. However, this friend had trouble pronouncing Ma's name. As such, the tourist nicknamed Ma Jack, a name that's still used by the billionaire today. Ma would later attempt to enter Hangzhou Teachers College. However, he failed the entrance exam twice due to his weakness in mathematics. But third time's a charm as Ma passed the exam in 1984. He then graduated in 1988 with a degree in English. After graduating, Ma struggled to find work. He stated he applied for 30 jobs but was rejected from them all, including a job with KFC where every other person that applied was accepted but him. Ma eventually managed to secure a job as a teacher of English in what is now known as Hangzhou Dianzi University. Ma stated that after graduating, he unsuccessfully applied to study at Harvard Business School 10 times. In 1994, with the internet boom underway, Ma started up his company, Hangzhou Haibo Translation Agency. During a trip to the US, Ma saw that there was a lack of Chinese websites online. So in 1995, upon his return to China, he created his next company, China Pages, who created websites for Chinese businesses. In 1999, after leaving a job with the government, Ma set up Alibaba with 17 friends. It was originally a Chinese business-to-business marketplace. Now, Alibaba is one of the biggest e-commerce companies in the world. By 2005, Yahoo was attracted to Alibaba. They're like, "Hey Alibaba, how you doing?" No, they ended up investing $1 billion into the company for a 40% stake. Yeah, attracted to their money. Ma also created companies Alipay, Lynx, Alimama, and Taobao. Ma eventually walked away as chairman from Alibaba in 2019 to focus on his philanthropic interests, although he remains on the board. After criticizing the Chinese government in October 2020, Ma vanished. He reappeared in January 2021. The exact reason for his disappearance is unknown. Most likely he knows the internet has amnesia. Say something stupid, you can come back, people forget that you even said it. Today, Ma sits on a net worth estimated to be $62.1 billion. Hey, final fact finish. Since the global events took over, the billionaires in the US have become even richer. According to reports, 660 of the richest people have had their wealth increase by a collective $1.1 trillion, which is an increase of 40%. 46 of those 660 people only became billionaires due to the events. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next time.